So I'm here on the little internets, and you can't make this kind of stuff up. Hi, I'm Lindsay here on the Plan. What we normally, not today, but normally, we talk about food and how to eat for muscle gain, fat loss, health, longevity, etc., etc. I also, separately, two separate things, I also happen to be a vegan. And I do like an 80-20 plant-based diet where it's mostly plants and some processed foods that I find value in for my specific goals, right? Okay. So today we're talking about the vegan kind of side of things, side of how I live my life, right? Which, by the way, is not just food, right? That's why I say plant-based and vegan. These are two separate things. So it's not just about the diet, it's about, for me, right, it can be different for different vegans, right? And each vegan has a different definition of veganism. I mean, it is a certain, it has a definition, but it means something different for each person, and each person might do it a little bit differently. For example, with honey, there's some vegans who are like, I'm supporting, the protection of bees. There's other people who are like, it's an animal product, and that's, where we're using their labor for our consumption, and instead of just protecting them for the sake of protecting them, right? Which I understand both of those things. One's a little bit more pragmatic, but I just don't consume honey because I'm like, I don't know. There's maple syrup, there's other things, and I don't have to like think this sort of thing through. I really take the laziest approach to veganism, where it's like, if it's an animal, I don't bother because I don't want to have moral ambiguity in figuring stuff out, right? That's why being a vegetarian, the second someone kind of put in my head like, hey, fish or animal, then I was like, you're right, okay. You know what I mean? So, and also, like, you don't process milk well, so why are you eating it? Like, why do you need a pill to digest food that you don't need to eat? And I was like, say less. Right. I can just save money and time. So anyway, all of that being said, I want to talk about an aspect of veganism that I think is really important. It's tied to a couple of other things. How did I get to this point? I am just perusing the internet, and I will read you the title of this video. Pregnant lobster discovered at Utah Red Lobster returned to ocean for protection. This is from KUTV 2 News, Salt Lake City. I'll read the title of that video again and why I'm laughing and why I was like, I need to talk about this. Pregnant lobster discovered at Utah Red Lobster returned to ocean for protection. Red Lobster, for those of you who don't know or aren't from the States or what have you, Red Lobster is a restaurant, a seafood restaurant, where the major thing is lobster and, endless shrimp and things like that, right? They found a pregnant lobster and returned her to the ocean for protection. They returned her to the ocean for protection from the people who were just about to eat her. If someone can help me, this to me, and this to me is analogous to not protecting children, right? There are many things that we in society in general, but specifically Americans, if you hear what I'm saying, there are really like prescient problems that we have the tools to help solve, that we can do to protect children, but we don't do that. Instead, we I hope you see where I'm going here without me actually having to state the obvious, right? The reason why I'm having such a hard time with this is like, this is so freaking typical. This is so freaking typical. They're sending her to the ocean because sh because sh to force the labor upon her, in a sense, right? She is producing more product. And so that is why she is valued, this lobster. She was not valued until she was shown to be producing more product for them. They don't care at all about, preservation of sea life or any of that stuff because they're consuming it readily in droves, tanks and tanks in each Red Lobster that hasn't yet been shut down. Although, side note, I do really love that new CEO. I mean, I wish it wasn't on the backs of animals dying, but like, I really do love that CEO and like what he's doing. He's like young, black, and brilliant, being like, this company is dying and I'm gonna like fix it. And I think that's pretty cool. But, complicated feelings. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring up the absolute backwards, like weird hypocrisy that we have where we value, it seems like we only value life when it is producing, when it is doing labor, when it like that side of stuff. We don't actually care about life, right? We could protect kids from what's going on in the schools multiple times a year, multiple times a month. What am I talking about? We could protect kids, but we really say F them kids, right? We could protect kids by, giving them the free lunches and like supporting them monetarily and their needs, right? A family's needs, a woman's needs, right? And to be able to take care of her kids, or to choose to not have kids and adding less stress to the system and only, like supporting everyone who chooses to be a mother so that all the kids that we have good support. We could be putting our efforts in that, but no, we're putting our efforts to limit people's choices. We're putting our efforts to all this other stuff, and it just, to me, it doesn't make sense. To me, there's a strong analogy there. It's partly why I'm vegan. It's not just about the animals. It is a state of mind that permeates throughout how you see life and how you see other people as well. And all of this from scrolling on the internet, reading about how they're saving lobsters at a lobster restaurant, a lobster rescue from the lobster restaurant at the lobster restaurant. How'd they even know she was pregnant? Like, see, now I'm going to go on a YouTube rabbit hole where I find out too much information about lobsters. I'm going to leave it here because I feel like I've said a lot of things and there's open loops here, surely. Maybe you can close those loops. Drop a comment if this has made you think of anything. Drop a comment if you agree. Drop a comment if you disagree. I would really like to hear from you, especially if you disagree, right? And if you're someone who loves seafood and sees absolutely no problem in it, you don't have to explain yourself, please. There should be a meme where, how can you tell an omnivore, oh, they apologize for all of their food choices to every vegan they know. That's definitely like a meme and should be somewhere. I'd have to figure out how to create it. Anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this because I was so flummoxed. I had to read that several times, not just on screen. I was reading it several times like, And I don't even want to click on it because I just don't want them thinking that I need to know more about this whole thing. I don't want to be engaged with this sort of thing. Don't tell me about how shenanigans are happening, how, SeaWorld just saved it. I really don't care. I really don't. Stay tuned for talks about food and my grocery hauls and things like that. And you know, how to improve your body composition. This is not that video, but hopefully you found something out of it. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with a vegan friend that you have. Okay, bye.